All right, hey there, guys. Sam here with you on October 30th here on a Tuesday. We're kind of middle of the day. So Tuesdays, we're looking at traditional assets, and we poll our members like we so often do and look for input from them as to what they'd like to see reviewed. And number one by request was the SQQQ, right? The ProShares Ultra Pro Short. All right, so this is as the market's selling off. It will be the reverse of the market. So as the QQQ has just been in straight rally mode, of course this is going straight down, and as now we're starting to get some volatility and seeing the markets start some sort of a correction, we're getting sparks over here. So I'm sure that's why people are interested. Now, I show you this in the daily mode just so you don't lose perspective, right, of what's been a pretty remarkable trend. Now, is there enough here to warrant a long here? Well, I don't know about a major trend change just yet, but there's definitely been some technical trading here. You're not going to see it on the daily. So far we've just gone up to the 233 and been rejected. So to get any sort of insight into what's happening down here, I'm going to take it down to the 1 hour. So you see down here. So this. All right, now I just had a quick look at this. Sometimes they're so easy, they're so good, they're so obvious. It's almost I promise you this is not cherry picked, right? So this is purely from the members. So here's that long. So as the long downtrend here, and we ultimately get a double bottom here. So what's the first thing we see? Well, we've had some sort of an impulse and a retracement. Well, remember the Vegas wave was originally designed to work on hourly charts. Well, look what we do here. So it literally splits the lips of the Vegas wave. Just technically perfect. But just eyeballing that, you might think, I wonder if there's any sort of algo participation here. So just simple stuff, right? It's the same thing I show you on every video every time. Right? Swing low, swing high. All right, what do we do? So talk about Confluence. So look here, you've got I swear to God, guys, I do not cherry pick these. All right, so we've got some structural prior resistance offering support. We have the golden zone, and we have the Vegas wave literally splitting the lips of the Vegas wave. Right? They don't get any better than that. So you go, okay, well we know what happened there. We don't have to wonder. Right, so that's algo participation. It's all they run the 618. They're getting anyone who doesn't know this. They're getting them stopped out. Those stops just sitting on the other side of the 618. Right, they run those stops and then look at the reaction. So from here, we're already to target. So you see, we had the wicks through, but the bodies note the bodies of the candles, right on that target. So you just open that up a little bit and you think, so maybe we've got the start of something so you might, if you're thinking Elliott count, well, we're not quite there on a third yet. It looks like that's going to, well, we'll have to check that. So 3, these are just placeholders, right? Not implying that we're going there. I got to put them somewhere, right? So if God damn, that annoys me so much. Trading view. All right. So first grab is always, it pulls the whole thing. Okay, so we have a contender for a 1, 2, 3. Well, if I've got 3 pivots like that, I'd like to think that we're to the point now where you don't have to wonder what's coming next. So if we've got 3 pivots, we sure as hell are going to put some median lines on it. So, right, do you want to guess where this is going to go? All right, it can't get much better than that, guys. Right. So again, there's no magic here. This is the same stuff I show you every day, every time. It's always the same, right? Which is the power of this. So that what we have here is a golden corner pocket. All right, that is the absolute quintessential. I can't imagine a better example I could give you, considering the confluence of events that took place at that retracement with that target. Now, so you say, remember, it's from in a golden corner pocket, we have an 80%, right? I always remind you, it is the single best odds in trading. 80% that we make the median line. Well, we get to the algo target, and you think, well, I thought that's where we're going to get a reaction. Well, we got a reaction, but look, there was just enough left to get to the median line to realize that 80%. It seems like, come on, man, that can't be, right? It seems like that's just coincidence. I promise you, it's not. It's just, they're 20, almost 25 years of doing this, one thing I can absolutely guarantee you is there are very rarely do you ever find a coincidental technical event, right? It doesn't every now and then you can rationalize it. Oh man, I mean, something weird happened. It just always just happened to hit that median line. Yeah, if you want to think that way, I think that's going to lead to trouble in the market. I promise you that is not random. Okay, so what more can I add there? Right? Did we get it twice? It looks like we might have. Yeah, let's see. So from swing low here, here's my first pivot. All right, so again, these are, members pick these. I don't pick these. All right, so let's look what we have here. All right, so here's the second swing from our golden corner pocket. Here's the swing low, swing high. We get the reaction. What do? Right back to the golden zone. Right, and there's that target. So you got back to back. So you wonder, you go, why do they turn this into an algorithm? Well, that's why. Right, and there we get it. I don't know what more I can put in front of you. Right, that's back to back winners. Right, both got to target, and we tagged the median line. That's pretty much everything I teach you guys in one trade. That I mean, to take 5 minutes, not even that, 2 minutes to do that analysis. So where are we going? Is that a wave 3? Well, it's hard to say, right? So first we have to look at the qualifications. So do we have 100%? So let's look here. Having realized what those targets could, oh, God damn, that's gonna just drive me crazy. I so wish they would change that. All right, so here's the third up here. All right, so we don't have a 4 and a 5 yet. Maybe we've got a 4 coming in here, so we would want to pay attention to that wave 1, potential wave 1 here. If we've hit this 4 and come back, could that be the 4? Well, it doesn't look like we've got enough has happened there, right, to really call that a 4. So I keep this off to the side. We're looking for it between the. Well, let's take this off. So let's think about where we are now. All right, so if this is a third, first thing we have to see is, does it qualify? So I'm going to take it from the low here. Here's my 1. Here's my pivot. All right, so there, oh God, so there's some more confluence, right? So we get exactly 100% of this range we get. So that is called. Well, there you go, right? So there are no coincidences in the market. That's perfect technical confluence right there. I don't know what else I can put in front of you. So now we look at that and say, so we have a contender for a wave 3 as it's longer than wave 1. Now this could have more to go. We don't know, but at least we know we have a contender for a wave 1. So if we're looking for the wave 2, we're pulling from our 2 low to our 3 high right on there. And we're looking for it right here in this range here. So the lower parallel here, yeah, I have the 1.5 on it, but the lower parallel here is a reasonable place to look for a reaction. We may have already gotten that reaction, but it doesn't look like much of an ABC, right? So first reaction, often you'll get it here that will be technical. We get this, now we're going down again. Well, if we did something like that, of course, we'd be looking at a diagonal. Right, so if we're going to overlap the 1 here, which has already been challenged once, so if we're going to overlap that, then we're looking at a diagonal. So this may be what we end up with here is an ABC of a diagonal, right? So if we're thinking diagonal, so it looks more like perhaps we've got ABC into a 1, so these are thin, ABC into a 2. So you might be looking here, right? We don't know yet because we don't know if it's going to overlap. Right, I would anything if they will change that. It's just so annoying. Okay, so if we get, there's the 3. So if we're going to get more complexity here, now we're on a 60-minute. So this would be surprising if that's all we got in the subdivision of that correction. Then we're down to a 15-minute trying to dig an ABC there. Maybe you can make that case. Maybe you got a little AB, but that's an awfully skinny C wave to call that done. It's possible, right? It's definitely possible. Looks more like that's just the A wave going in, but again, we are down. Now that's a 15 minutes, so that looks to me like that's more like the A wave here, but we'll have to see, right? If that's got. So how would you know? Well, we'd pull from the other side. First, we'll look for the 50. Well. So swing high, swing low, we come right to the 50. Remember, there's always an algo on the other side. That algo has a target down here. So this guy who sold here is looking for that target. So could be that's A, B, and we're going to get another push down for the C. This doesn't look like that's done. So maybe that pushes down. We're going towards target here. That we'd be overlapping this 1. So, right, so relates to what to do now. Well, the trades have already come and gone as far as I'm concerned. So we had 1 followed by 2 and pushing that for a third, maybe, right? So that's, well, if it's good. So first we have to see, do we hold here? So I would say there's really nothing to do just yet. So the first tell is, do we hold here the wave 1? Are we going to stay impulsive? Well, then we got to rethink this count. My guess is this breaks because this looks more like we're going to end up with a diagonal. So I'd be waiting to see the response here. Does this hold? If we start to move away from it, then we can make the assumption, but you're having to allow for this as the ABC. Let's open that up a little more. All right, so you'd be making the assumption this is A, this is B, C. Yes, we have a new low here, but even on a 15-minute, there's certainly not much subdivision here. So I'd be a little cautious about assuming that correction is in just yet. Given the structure that we see here, this is not textbook impulsive structure. Of course, right, with something like this, we always have all the gaps that are the result of the market closing. But this looks to me like, at the very least, I'd like to see what happens if we come down here and test this, if that's going to hold as the 4. Well, see, you don't have to worry about missing the whole thing. Yeah, right, if you're looking to get long here, you've missed back-to-back winners. But it's a little soon, right, to be chasing this. So if this is going to come down here, if we're going to get this B into the C and we're going to hold here, and then we're going to push up, well, there's our algo target. That's a logical target if we do that, right? So then you don't have to feel like you've missed a whole lot, because if we do that, the only thing next that's going to happen, so if we get 4 into 5, where's my 5? There it is. So if we get that, right, so then the next thing, all we're going to do is just go from swing low to swing high and look for the 50%. So the next opportunity, so let's see, I know I'm getting that hard to see. So the next opportunity of the entire swing low, and now I'm hypothetical. I don't know that we stop here. I don't know that we pivot there. But if we're just laying out the roadmap here, the next place I'm interested is down here. So we finished the 5. Now we'd be looking for this to come down in some sort of corrective pattern that would take us here and then set us up for the bigger. So this would just be the 1 wave coming off that low. Well, that implies substantially lower prices for the NASDAQ and for stock indexes. But if we're going to do that, that's the next trade, right? So you can confirm, so you can wait, right? So either if we hold the wave 1, and then this is an ugly looking impulse. If we break it and we're heading lower down here, remember in a diagonal, we're looking for, let me pull this off. We're looking for the reaction between the start of the 1, again, on the assumption that my third is in. We're looking for the reaction at the 50. So in a diagonal, we're looking for the 4 down here. So that would imply this all comes down. Oh, God. All comes down here to the 50. I would tighten this up a little bit. So here's our next opportunity. If we're going to trade this, if this wave 1 breaks, then we're looking for a deeper retracement for the 4. So your diagonal looks like this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a typical diagonal. So let me kind of screwing you up here. Let me pull that off. So that's the diagonal structure, which would put the 5 up here. Right, so then if I remove all drawing indicators, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so the whole thing looks like this. 3, we're down for the 50, overlapping the 1. Maybe we get something like that. All right, so that's the diagonal structure, ABCs throughout. Remember, leading diagonal, we could have a 5-3, 5-3, 5, but more likely we're gonna get ABCs throughout the course of this, and then in a diagonal we'd do something like this, right? So you'd be looking for that kind of structure to tell us, oh, okay, I've got a motive wave coming off of this low. Yes, it's a diagonal, but that's to be anticipated because this would be a 1 wave. Well, it's either a 1 wave or an A wave, right? It could be of a larger ABC before we go back down again. So where's the next trade? If we complete that, if you want to wait and let that complete, we go up, we wait for that pivot, and then we're waiting for the 50. Right? That's so then we're just looking for, this is a 1 wave or an A wave. We're looking for the 2 or the B at the 50 of that entire thing retraced. So as of right now, my if I had to bet, I'd be betting that this breaks, that we do break this one. Right, so this is going to break, then that fits in with the diagonal structure. So really nothing to do yet, as the two easy trades have come and gone. Now as to what happens here, now we have more uncertainty. If this holds and we miss it, right? So the whole thing turns into an impulse. If we keep this level and we get an impulse, well, that again, this is still here. Eventually we'll pivot. We'll get a completed motive wave if it's going to do it. Of course, right? We don't know for sure, but if we go up here and complete this, it's the same thing, same result. Then we've got a completed one wave. Happens to be an impulse. We wait for the 2. We wait for the 50. So that's pretty much what your choices are. If you're feeling bearish about the NASDAQ, well, then you could take a runner here, knowing, so you could actually be quite tight here. You could take this now with a stop just under the pivot of the 1, on the assumption that this is going to stay as an impulse. So you could, that's very tradable there right now, actually. Well, note here we've got these prior pivots here that are getting challenged here. Prior resistance looks like we're just digging through the edge of that. So you have a potential to be a buyer here. I would not take a stop. You don't need to be much below that wave 1, right? So you've got a relatively decent risk reward. So if you're a buyer right here, right now, you got upside target here. We don't need to be too far below. I might give it a tick or two in case we're going to go into this diagonal. So there's 4.4 to 1 if you're a buyer right now, on the assumption that the wave 4 is in, which, as I just went through with you, it's possible, right? It looks less probable to me, but it's certainly possible. So I would kind of wait for some resolution there. If you miss this and this goes up here, right, there will be a 2, right? So don't fret that, right? Let it complete. Now we know what we have. Now we have the first motive wave, and so if I go back to the daily and put that all in perspective, right? Do we have we got plenty of look where that thing has come from, right? We got plenty of upside, right? If we're gonna have a major trend change here, we got, well, just these prior pivots, right, would be natural targets. So plenty of upside. So don't sweat that when you're looking at it on the hourly. Oh shit, man, I missed it already. I missed the first 2 good ones. Well, yeah, you did miss something. So, but don't compound the problem, right, by chasing something here. So not something to be overly aggressive on, because even if you get that target, it's about to come all the way back down to the 50, right? That's what's most probable, right? It's possible we just keep rolling, but this is what's probable. We trade the probable, not the possible. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap there because I've got 2 more to do for you today. That's 17 minutes. I just wanted to comment that we've got some promotions going on right now, sort of end of the month, Halloween, a couple of things. So look for that both underneath this video as well as, I think on the pinned tweet that's at the top of our Twitter feed, there'll be some new links for some promotions that we're doing. So keep those in mind, and I'll check with my marketing guys here so I can be more specific. Hopefully I can get them underneath this video link and then across all of our social media as well. All right, guys, back to you later.